XL Energy Postgame Show. Here is Kevin Falness.
7 seconds to go. The Bruins are going to run out of time. Zacha fires it up ice. Coyle trying to step free. He can't get to it. And the Minnesota Wild hang on. They end their 3-game losing streak as they blank the Bruins here 1-0 today in this afternoon affair. The 4th shutout of the year for Philip Gustafsson and the 10th in his regular season NHL career.
Boy, did they need that one. Came at the expense of the Boston Bruins, but hopefully the Wild are headed back in the right direction. Welcome to the postgame show. Kevin Falness downstairs in the Bob Kurtz Radio Center, upstairs in the Al Shaver press box. Tom Reid is with us after a tough road trip, Tom. You hope that home sweet home would be the case for this Minnesota Wild team getting back to St. Paul, and boy, did that prove to be the case with a great defensive structure and also great goaltending from Philip Gustafsson.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. It was not easy. Boston put on a great show here today. Once again, they've got some pretty talented players, and if you notice, Pasternak was out most of that third period trying to get that tying goal, but didn't quite work. But Minnesota did a great job, and you want to just keep on moving along here, going ahead, but you don't want to get yourself in the rut where you're getting a lot of losses in a row. Minnesota had that with 3 of them, but all of a sudden they break that theme, and with that, pick up their first win. Now they've got to do it the next time they play their game, which will be in Seattle.
You mentioned Pasternak. He has a 17-game point streak snapped tonight at the hands of the Minnesota Wild. Did get 5 shots on goal, and like you said, logged a ton of ice time, more than 25 minutes of ice time, but it's the Wild that are able to hold down the fort, and especially Philip Gustafsson delivering the 1-0 shutout victory. Tom Reid, who is your catalyst of the game?
I got to go with the goaltender, no question about it. You look at a guy like Gus, who has struggled at times, but boy, he stood tall, especially in that third period when he got tested numerous times. 28 shots came his way. He stopped all 28. That's his 4th shutout of his season this right now. And boy, those are big. When your goaltender's hot, when he's focused like that, that gives a lot more confidence to the guys in the bench too.
Philip Gustafsson gets the Tom Reid's catalyst of the game. Want to ask you about one other guy in particular. By the way, Matt Boldy, 8 shots on goal tonight against Boston. Did not find the back of the net, but definitely trying to do his part to help out things. But, yesterday, of course, the Wild made a trade. They grabbed Gustav Nyquist from the Nashville Predators. 15 and a half minutes of ice time, a shot on goal, and a couple of takeaways as well. What'd you think of the return of Gustav Nyquist?
I liked him when he was here before, Kevin, and I said that when they were not able to keep him just because of salary constrictions. And with that, all of a sudden, he comes back here. I was really excited when I found out he was coming back here because I really enjoyed watching him play, and I thought this is a guy that can really help us. Unfortunately, he went away for a little while going to Nashville, but he's back here right now, and I think he did a great job just coming in yesterday and getting acclimated to the team and the systems and so on. But he's somewhat familiar with the systems too, so that was pretty good. But it was great to have him back here, and I think he's going to be a nice asset for this team.
I think Bill Guerin felt the Swedish quotient was going down with Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin unavailable. They're injured. They bring in Gustav Nyquist, and the influx of another Swedish, some bloodlines into that Wild locker room. We already know that this team is battered and bruised. You're not going to have Kaprizov, Jules Eriksson or Jonas Brodin for this brief 2-game road trip into the Pacific Northwest. It starts on Tuesday. We are going to Seattle to take on the Kraken.
Yep.
Back to the road, Thomas. What do you know about Climate Pledge Arena? What are you in for?
Well, they're in for a battle. There's no question about it. But Hartman's coming back into the fold too, Kevin, and that's going to be a big plus for Minnesota. That gives us a little more experience on the ice for guys who have played a lot of games in the NHL. And I'm sure he's learned a lesson, I would think, on this one. Hopefully that's well behind him in the rearview mirror. And with that being said, just want him to be ready and able to provide some offense and some grit for this hockey club.
I know it's not your last road trip of the season, but if you get through this week, Tom, the light is there at the end of the tunnel. A lengthy homestand, finally, if you can get past this trip out to Vancouver and Seattle. Do you got it in you?
Yeah, we're going to have it in this because, when you look at Minnesota, they're going to have, 14 games in the month of March, and 11 of those are in this building where Minnesota has not fared very well, but this is the start of hopefully something good here today.
Hopefully you're right. Travel safe. We'll talk to you Tuesday night.
Thank you.
Tom Reid in the Al Shaver press box tells us that Philip Gustafsson gets the catalyst of the game. The catalyst of the game is presented by Catalyst Supply Co. Building materials and install support. Boost your build. The postgame show just getting started. Wild get their 35th victory of the season and stop the 3-game slide. They take down the Boston Bruins 1-0. A break, and then we got more from St. Paul next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.